Good evening or good afternoon from wherever you're going to be tuning in by the time you're watching this recording. Welcome to my YouTube channel, guys. I'm really happy to be here. It's Sunday. You're actually on the number one Forex trading channel in Kenya. Yay. So, as always, on Sundays, I do my weekly analysis. So, again, this Sunday, I'm doing it early. It's actually 11:34 a.m. My time, Kenyan time. So we're just gonna look at the different currencies, how the markets would be looking like, what to expect. But more specifically, I'm focusing on the technical side of things. But before I go on, guys, as always, I always make a polite request. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Give a thumbs up to this video. Let YouTube know that I'm giving you value so that more people can get to see the content that I share and more people are able to get better in their trading. So that being said, I'm looking at gold. Of course, I always look at gold, but I'll focus on the main pairs that I usually trade during the week in terms of what I do share in my signals group in my trading channel on Telegram. So gold is one of them. We have US 30, um, Euro JPY, Euro AUD, Euro CAD, GU and GJ. So those are the main pairs. Those are actually my winning pairs, our winning pairs in the Tradehouse. So that's what I'll be looking at. So I'm starting out with gold. Um, and this is on the daily time frame. Let me just go a notch higher and look at the weekly. So on the weekly time frame, we see something pretty interesting. We can see this drop that happened in gold, and then we also see that we've been rallying actually for the last 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks to the upside, pushing higher up. However, last week we saw some rejection at the weekly structure on gold, and prices began to push a bit lower. So that being said, I'm still bullish on gold. Okay, officially, I'm still bullish on gold. Um, on the weekly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see highs in the future of 1870 in the future, maybe not in the near term right now, but I'm bullish on gold. Um, on the daily, of course, we saw some correction happen last week after this rally again. As you can see, we had, you know, some major correction happening on Friday. Which is okay. And as we can see now on the daily, when we narrow it down from the weekly, we can see how the rejection on the weekly structure happened. That being said, this is not really a surprise per se. We may try to push lower. Okay, we may try to push lower, but I'm still at this point in time still relatively bullish on gold. But let me dial down onto the lower time frames so that I can actually just see maybe how things may look on market open. So 4 hour, we can see this really strong move down. But what I'm also anticipating is we actually will bounce off this level here at 1809, 1808, thereabouts. I think we will bounce off this level and start to push to the upside. Let me look at the 30 minutes. I like to do my entries um, on the 30 minute, or if I dial it down even more, sometimes I look at the 5 minute if I don't see a really nice entry opportunity on the 30 minute. So my assumption is there's a level here that is interesting for me. And this is the 1807 level. Okay. Let me say, yeah, 1807 4.21 level, thereabouts. So I would not be surprised if we saw um, a shift lower, okay? before we now see the continuation to the upside. Because basically, gold has been rallying up and then it's just been on a pullback or a retest, retesting previous levels of liquidity, and then now is beginning to looks like it was beginning to push up. But the way I look at it, I wouldn't be surprised if I would not I wouldn't be surprised. I would want to see possibly a retest of the 1807 level to really be comfortable with the rise up, but we wait and see how the market opens. So generally, long term, I am bullish on gold long term. But when market opens, we may see like a bit of a drop before we see the push up. Okay, so I hope you guys have gotten that. So this level here, 1807.42, is an important level. Whether it's retested at market open or later on in the week, I do anticipate this level, price pushing to this level, and then possibly the rejection before we move to the upside. So yes, bullish, but with some retracements or retest of previous support structure. So that is gold. I'm going to look at US 30, and we know what was happening in the market last week. We had CPI, Consumer Price Index news coming out. Powell made a couple of comments that also pushed prices. Dollar was affected significantly, so a lot of dollar pairs were affected. When I look at the US 30, let me first also look at the dollar index. Yeah, so it's relatively been pushing higher. Okay, so that may, explain the drop in US 30, right? But what I'm seeing right now is we've retested a key zone. Okay, as you can see, this is a trade I gave last week. Let's say on Thursday, it did drop a couple of pips, like about, I think it was about let's see, about 100 points. Okay, and then pushed up. Okay, so grab some liquidity on the upside and then push down. Now, what I anticipate is that we may just bounce off this zone and continue to push to the upside. But there's that, yeah, because I'm seeing like this is a key level. We have finally retested this key level. So I would I would definitely expect a push to the upside, okay, before we see any further drop. So my take is possibly this is what would possibly happen. Kind of, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this pushed higher, bounced off this key zone because this is a key level, okay? So I feel like there's a lot of buyers on this zone, but I don't think we will really push too high, okay? So I'm looking at maybe just testing the previous level of support and resistance here, and then we will push lower. So, but when you look at it on the higher time frame, just look at US 30 on the higher time frame. Of course, we know that US 30 has been rallying. There's been a lot of volatility where US 30 is concerned. So my take is even if we push lower, we're still going to, because we're still going to push up. But I feel like these levels here at 834,251 are important levels of structure. So we will, possibly push lower as we continue to push to the upside. The buyers are still in control, guys. I don't see that changing as of yet, but on the lower time frame, we will see attempts to push lower. Okay. I mean, this could really just drop all the way down to 33 levels, 33 to 210 levels, and so on and so forth, 33, 161. But because of this strong demand zone, I would prefer if I saw a bounce off the demand zone before we now see the drop to the downside. So we are in the 4 hour, we kind of look like we're in a kind of a distribution kind of phase happening. So that's why I'm kind of bearish on US 30, regardless of this bounce off this level of structure before we drop. Yeah, so that's US 30. Then when I look at, let's say, GBP USD, I could even look at GBP AUD. I like to look at GBP AUD sometimes because it gives me an indication of how. So GBP AUD sideways range, okay. We've been trying, we kind of broke structure here, but then we came back into the zone. This, was looking like, so I feel like, but let me look at the daily. So we can see the clear, like rejection. Let me just clear this chart. So we broke structure here, okay. We are actually on the daily. We have retested, let me change this. Okay, so this is the daily high. Okay, we retested that and rejected off of that. So price is kind of looking like it wants to break structure here. Okay, very convincing rally to the top. We are seeing rejection bottom side. Let me go to the 4 hour. Yeah, so 4 hour just telling a much, much clearer story. So I feel like we may need to shift lower. Okay, we may just need to shift lower. Um, just be able to shift lower. So let's see. Yeah, so interesting levels to watch maybe when the market so this is like, so we're kind of in this zone up here. Okay, I feel like let me look this way. I feel like there's potential to retest these lows um, um, further down. Let me look at this. Yeah, I'm seeing like there's potential for this. When you look at this, the major rejection on the daily, then we begin to see this kind of price action happening. Of course, we are seeing buyers are still kind of in control or kind of, maintaining the high prices. But then I feel like we're shifting lower. Okay, so we should shift lower, maybe continue to just consolidate. Okay, but there's potential for lower retest. Let's say we're looking at 1.843, which is what? Which is about, yeah, about 156 pips to the downside. So there's that potential to shift price lower. So possibly say GA is looking bearish. At a minimum, we should retarget the 1.85369 level. Okay. Let me look at GBP USD. So GBP USD just closed with a bang in terms of, we see this aggressive push to the lower end of things. We can see what happened here. price bounced off this level, pushed up, and then continued pushing down. So this was actually a structure move that I was anticipating, and it happened. So I'm just looking at, I'm just looking at potential to, let's see. Yeah, so potentially, I think we'll just retest this level and then bounce off. We've been consolidating, yeah. So I still feel like I'm not sure we'll break past the 1.37345 as yet, although there's a convincing bearish engulfing candle formation here upon market closure. But I just feel like maybe we'll push lower and then continue to consolidate. So that's my take on GU. I feel like we are not done with the bullish moves. I just feel like we've corrected. If I look at it from a bigger time frame, this is on the daily, we rallied up and then we've just been in like a corrective zone or phase. Kind of may probably just in an accumulation phase, and I feel like maybe we'll push. We will continue to consolidate, um, not necessarily push up and break structure up here, but I don't think we are quite ready yet to do that. But there's strong resistance support level hereabouts. So, if at all we do break structure here, we'll probably be trying to retest the 1.36776 level. So if that does happen, then which is not a bad idea, okay? 85 pips, I see, price just bouncing off that end, pushing back up. So if I look at it again on the 30, this is what I would expect price to, possibly break structure here and then just push on to the upside, and just continue consolidating as it figures out, what direction, but still bullish as well on GU, okay, long term. But there's a correction that needs to, happen for that bullish move to be validated. So that's GU. GBP, JPY, most likely possibly looking the same. So yes, we were still driving price down. So we will definitely possibly bounce off this structure, like this move here. We're still headed down, like, yeah, that's just how it's looking. Okay, so we broke structure here, been consolidating, pushing lower, but I feel like this is a strong zone. It should bounce off, and then maybe we continue seeing some more consolidation, okay, happening. But I'm also bullish on TJ. But on market open, possibly will shift lower, 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 lower. Possibly even break. We could break this level and shift even lower. But I'm bearish for now in the short term and bullish in the long term. So I want to look at Euro JAUD. Okay. So Euro AUD, on the other hand, it has been bullish. Okay, and we can see I've had quite a number of bullish buyers. Okay. We are now, this is like the third attempt to break structure here. So if I look at the higher time frame, so this is the daily, okay, levels. We broke structure here, kind of faked out, dropped, and then came back again, tested. So this is a pretty strong level. There's potential to break this level and push up. I mean, we closed pretty bullish on Friday. So I wouldn't be surprised if so, just looking at this major rejection here on the lower end, I feel like we will push up. The question is always often when. So let me just adjust my levels again. Yeah, so however, on Euro AUD, we've actually been on a downtrend. Okay, so this is like a correction. So I'm not so sure that this will continue to will break structure here. When I look at it now a bit better, I feel like this would be a much more high probability scenario. So we just continue pushing lower, possibly bounce off these lows, and just consolidate for a bit. Um, that's how things are looking for Euro AUD. So almost similar to GA, looking at pushing lower levels. Even if we break structure, I don't think we are going to really rally to the top. I am more biased um, on the sell side of things, and only because the last time we actually were above this level was in December. Okay, or let's say January, December, January. So this is very, Euro AUD has been dropping. It has been dropping. Um, so I'm still bearish. So this for me is just a correction, and then we continue to the downside. But let me again look at the lower time frame. Yeah, I mean, that's my take, guys. I want to see, attempts to push lower before we ever see this structure breaking. Um, that's just what I'm looking at. That's about 60, about 150 pips. So yeah, this level here at this zone here at 1.58069 to me is 1.58086. I mean 1.58 thousand is basically an important level of structure. You know, this zone here, if I even just extend it, this zone here is a strong zone. So I will likely anticipate, a drop. I mean, that's my bias, guys. That's my bias. I'm bearish on Euro AUD on market open. Whether that happens, we'll see. Then I also want to look at so there's Euro JPY. So Euro JPY did pretty well last week. As we can see, we did push lower. Okay. Took a bit of time to actually get to the 56. You see this trade here. This was a nice clean trade that I gave on Wednesday. And we actually got to we did this. I mean, it finally got hit almost target 55 pips. This was 56 pips. And then it bounced off and then it started pushing up. And I had put a buy limit order here, and we can see this trade also has moved exactly as anticipated. And here we did about what 50 pips. Yeah. So for Euro JPY, last week's two trades went pretty good, Wednesday and Thursday. And then we saw the market begin to shift lower. So when I look at it, we are scaling lower highs. Let me just remove my drawings from last week. We're definitely seeing the shift in price really has been lower. But the thing is, we are also sitting. Let me look at this on the day. because I believe we're kind of sitting on a zone. Yeah, here. So we are definitely still bullish. We are sitting on this zone of October 2018 and early March this year. So literally retested this level. I'm still gunning for Euro JPY to keep pushing higher. Okay, I'm still, yeah, that's just my take. That's just my take. So even if we push lower, I I'm not so convinced yet we are ready to break lower or shift lower. We may, when I look at the lower time frame here, if we do like break structure here, if we do, because there's been bearish momentum, then possibly the next level of structure will be, you know, will probably be about 128, which is about how many pips away? About 100 pips away, you know. So we may shift lower and then bounce off this low and push up. And if we push up, really push up, like, yeah, because I'm bullish on Euro JPY. So that's what I would be looking for. So either we bounce off this level and start shifting to the upside immediately the market opens, or we break structure, shift lower, a bit lower, and then now continue the rally to the upside. So long term, just like gold, I'm bullish on Euro JPY, but there's room to correct to the downside before the bullish move upwards happens. So you can see my parameters. I'm looking at the level of 129.716 as a key level. And then another level, if this is broken, 128.797, for us to now see a nice convincing push to the upside. So that's EJ. And the last pair is Euro card that I want to look at. Then we are definitely kind of done. So when I look at UJ has been in a kind of like an interesting phase here. We've been shifting higher. Okay, so my take is just we're gonna continue shifting higher. I mean, that's just what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the next, how many pips is that? I mean, we're not too far, about 880 pips, 83 pips. So I would anticipate for Eurocard to continue shifting higher. It could even go all the way to, let's see, all the way to, you know, the 1.52024 level. So I'm bullish on Eurocard. Let me look at, this is on the longer time frame though. If that break to the upside doesn't have, then we will definitely drop and all the way to 1.43288. But for now, I feel like this level may hold. We may see some consolidation happening, but I'm still bullish on Euro CAD. Yeah, I feel like there's still room for this pair to just, push up. So bullish on Euro CAD. But remember, we are on the daily structure right now. So there is possibility for the shifts lower. Okay. There's also a possibility for the shifts lower. Retest previous levels of structure before we push up. Okay, but I'm bullish on Eurocard. Let's just be clear. So I think I've looked at, so I'll just look at USD JPY as, I know I said that was the last one, but I like to look at UJ because I may not trade it as often as the others, but I do trade it, or I do call out trades because I think it's a really, really nice, consistent pair. So USD JPY has also been in an interesting correction phase here. But we are pushing lower, or we've been pushing lower, just correcting, hitting previous levels of liquidity. but still looking like there's more room to keep pushing up. But when I look at the lower time frame, I'm actually considering that this pair is just going to bottom out, like just shift all the way down. Like this was what I anticipated to happen last week, for it to break this level of structure. And I think it's going to happen this week. I think we are going to see that drop in UJ happen. This is about 70 pips. So that's really, but we've been in this kind of beginning a sideways shift, but at the same time, seeing more shift of the price lower. So that's why I'm bearish on USD JPY. And there's even lower levels of structure at 107. So we could just see this baby drop all the way down to 107.924. We just might. That's about 200 pips. If you look at it, correction, we bounced off this on the 4 hours. So this is just a shift back into structure at this level. So yeah, I'm bearish on UJ. Bearish on UJ. We are in a consolidation sideways range. But I'm bearish on UJ. So guys, I hope this has been helpful. If it has, guys, please share this video so somebody else who's preparing for the market this week, can just use it to have an idea or gauge what I'm looking at against what they are looking at, and possibly help them to make more informed decisions. But thank you so much for tuning in, as always, to the number one Forex trading channel in Kenya. Yes, so like, subscribe, comment, share, you name it, and see you soon, guys. Have a lovely, lovely trading.